Okay, so it is going to be Gamescom week. When you see this, we're going to be there. There's been, I'd say, sort of muted announcements as to what we can expect to see there. Uh, Jeff Keighley has done his customary expectations management for the opening night presentation. He's saying that we're going to see a lot of great stuff, but it's going to be stuff that we've likely seen before, which I think is absolutely fair enough,
That's cool.
considering. Yeah, I guess we should start there. Expectations. What do you really want to see? What are you looking forward to see? I'm going to start with you, John.
Oh man, that's a tricky one. I mean, there are some things I want to see. I'm hoping we'll get to see something like Alan Wake 2. That would be great. Obviously, I'm curious if there's any sort of hardware rumblings from any of the big companies, specifically on the PC side. Who knows? I mean, Germany is PC country after all, so it makes sense, right, to announce that.
Yeah.
There's a couple other projects on the agenda that I probably can't mention yet that signed up to see that I'm very excited to see. And really, I want to check out the retro area, of course, even though that's not like the latest in tech. That should be fun. But I'm really just excited to get together with you guys and, go around the show floor, see what's out there. Because it's Germany, if we walk out on the show floor, anything that's potentially violent will be turned away from the public area, forcing you to go around through the queue to get behind the wall and see it because, got to avert the eyes.
Violence.
USK, baby.
Wow.
You know how it is.
Yeah.
So you're basically looking for prohibited ultra violence.
I am there for the most violent of games. That's what I want to see.
Okay. Fair enough. That's a sentiment I'm sure you could agree with, right, Alex?
Oh yeah, that's why I play games, just for the violence, of course. There's no other reason that I play games, have ever played games. I'm excited about, seeing Alan Wake 2, because last time we saw it was kind of some sort of, they didn't exactly announce, I think it was PlayStation 5-ish of a build. I think that's what they said it was running on.
It was a PS5 build, yes. No ish about it.
No ish about it, but they had a little bit of wonky performance and stuff. So I'm curious to see if we can finally see the PC version of that game and whatever that entails. Because the last time they launched a game that we actually could play on PC in the West was Control, essentially. And that is a PC showcase for ray tracing, and it's been a long time since we've seen Northlight, what they've been advancing on it, because Northlight's been advancing ray tracing since 2019 when John saw it like running on DGX. That's all right. The way back then.
Oh my god.
And it's been a while, John, I know. And I'm curious to see what they've done, because they've had the time now to adjust, maybe some of the scaling in the game due to the release of AMD Radeon, as well as the console hardware, where we already saw they moved to a checkerboard RT reflections there when enabled on console. I'm curious if those kind of things will be in the PC build, if there's going to be other things in the PC build, because now we've got DLSS 3, we've got like all these other things that NVIDIA is pushing. I'm imagining NVIDIA is going to be the sponsor of the game. I'm just really curious to see all that. And as well, I know I'm going to be going a bit ahead here, but I did read Stalker 2 is going to be there. I'm very curious if that's the PC or some other version of the game.
Right. I'd say it's most likely to be PC, right? You'd think?
Yeah, I'd hope so. The first time they showed it off, it was definitely PC. And, it is a UE5 game.
Yeah.
And we haven't really been seeing beyond the demos of like the Matrix and stuff like that. A lot of the press stuff around UE5 is actually focusing always on just showing the PC version so far for a lot of things. Maybe just because UE5 is still so early and getting optimization in for that primary version of the game on console is like not a last minute effort, but something that where it gets in a really polished state only towards the end of a project. So I'm curious to see which version of that we'll see.
Interesting. Yeah, I mean, there's going to be a ton of stuff that's actually playable that's been announced, including Payday 3, including Stalker 2, Sonic Superstars, John. That's exciting, I think.
Yeah, actually, I forgot that's going to be there. I'm not sure if I'll be able to see it. Maybe it's out on the floor. I'll have to check on Wednesday. But that is a game I'm very hyped for.
Yep.
And yeah, it's looking like it's even 60 FPS on the Switch, which is a nice change of pace after Sonic Frontiers. Though that was obviously absolutely a more ambitious sort of game.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the list is quite extensive of what's going to be on what is mooted to be Microsoft's biggest show floor booth to date. Ghost Runner 2, Mortal Kombat 1, Immortals of Avium. We've got more on that in the direct later. Cyberpunk 2077, Phantom Liberty. Just going down the list here, stuff that catches my eye. I'm sure I'm missing a lot of really interesting stuff. Armored Core 6.
I mean, that's going to be out like the following week. So.
Yeah, it's like almost released at this point.
Basically done.
Yeah, obviously Starfield isn't going to be playable. There are going to be presentations where you can get a look at the game. And I'm curious what you think of that, because on the one hand, the game's literally done now. It's gone gold. You would expect it to be there, but on the other hand, can you actually do like a 20-minute demo of a game this vast that's actually meaningful? I still think it should have been done. I still think it should have been playable, because typically those Bethesda RPG games do seem to have like an opening segment, right? If you go back to Skyrim, Fallout 3, Fallout 4, there's always like an opening segment that sets the scene for the game. Surely they could have hived that off. I don't know. I'm sure there's good reasons. Maybe they thought just the hands-off presentation would give you a much better view of the overall sort of scale of the game.
Package,
but obviously we're really looking forward
to seeing... What about the
Starfield.
Unreal 5 game that was just got a new Gamescom trailer, Neo Berlin 2087? I feel like this is like a game made for Alex.
I watched that trailer, and I also watched the trailer that came out a while back, because I remember being like, oh, there's a game that takes place in Berlin. That's interesting. My first impression was, I see one building from the current Berlin in the entire trailer, and then there's a building in the trailer as well that is not in Berlin, but outside of Berlin.
So it's 2087, though.
It's 2087. Obviously, 80 years can change a lot.
They might be moving buildings about by then.
Exactly.
And
destroy
put them
most
on
of them.
tracks and destroy most of them. You never know. But I watched that trailer, and I mean, it's UE5, but to me, it looks like a lot of it's maybe, I don't know if it's a budgetary thing, but it looks like a lot of like UE5. I can see like the text seams and strings. Like I can see like a metahuman actor that is being driven probably by like webcam mocap or something like that.
Yep.
And I can see a lot of like, I don't know, the performance was really
Screen
janky
tearing.
in the trailer.
There's a lot of screen tearing.
Yeah, and I'm interested in the fact in the other gameplay video they released like months ago, it kind of had like a little bit of a Crisis vibe, because it's like about sneaking, and you can modify your weapons in real time while playing, which is, it's like Crisis, I guess. But not too interested actually, because it reminded me of like the worst aspects of Detroit 2 Human in terms of like what is being said. It sounded very cheesy, but that's my impression of that trailer.
I'll
Any other things? I mean, AMD are going to be there. They have announced that there will be product announcements. They seem to be from the Radeon team, which is interesting. So we would assume that there would be something. I don't know. This is complete guesswork, by the way. 7800 XT would make sense. The 7900 GRE seems to have been a really weird product.
Yeah, whatever that's about. So weird.
It was a full Navi. Well, not full. It was a Navi 31 based product. So it's based on the top end die, but the performance we've seen brings it more into line with. I think it was like 6800 XT.
Yeah,
which is surprising. So who knows what we're going to see there?
They should bring out the masterful move of announcing FSR 4 and like one up.
Yeah, before they release 3,
just skip a number. They're straight for 4, or
do it.
Or FSR 360.
Yeah, you can't beat them on the numbers game. You just make an entirely new number up. Go to the Microsoft route.
And then you go back to 1. You go from Xbox 360 to
but
Xbox One.
O-N-E,
So we'll go
FSR
ONE. Actually, we're due an FSR 3 update, I think.
Oh, that would be good. I mean, it would be fine to figure out what game it's going to launch in, what it's useful for. The very brief presentation they had at GDC, where they mentioned it like in a couple slides. It'd be nice to know something about that, but that 7900 GRE is a little bit confusing to me, because I think its price point is like around where a modern like legacy 6800 XT was, but it was like performing at around the exact same thing. So it's like another price performance stagnation thing. And it makes me wonder a little bit, if they announce the 7800 XT, if it's actually going to be lower performing than the 6800 XT.
I can't see that.
I don't know.
Maybe we'd have to recheck the numbers here, but I think it might be the case that it's closer to the GRE is in sort of 6900, 6950 XT territory, but who knows what's going to happen with the 7800. But the GRE was an OEM only product. You couldn't really buy it solus, so I suspect that's probably why.
Maybe that's why.
Yeah. Had sort of cuts to L3 cache and stuff like that, which would obviously have an impact on performance. I'm very curious to see what AMD have got for us because, they do need to refresh the lineup. They just seem to be rolling out, admittedly, very well-priced last-gen products to take on the current-gen NVIDIA products. And with 6750 XT in particular, they had a pretty compelling story. But let's see some new products. Let's see what they've got there. I'm curious to see if the ray tracing boost will persist down the stack. It was very questionable in the 7600 as to whether it was that much faster than the 6650 XT. Elsewhere in Gamescom, no Sony, which I guess they've got Spider-Man, but beyond that, they do seem to be light on content at the moment, but I would have loved to have seen Spider-Man. John, Nintendo, there's no sign of any new product announcements.
No, I don't think so.
Right.
Yeah, they're kind of in a weird spot because obviously they have a new console in the works that's going to be hitting hopefully next year. So they're kind of, there is Super Mario Wonder, which is coming out. I'm a little bit surprised that they didn't bring that to the show because I feel like that would have been a perfect game to demonstrate here. But yeah, it's a weird time for Nintendo, and it's a bit of a shame that we're not going to see anything new from them, likely, unless they bring it as a surprise, of course. But I don't think it's happening.
Yeah, and we fairly sure there won't be too much from Intel, though we have had a briefing that we'll talk about in the next news story. Some exciting stuff there, but no new product announcements that I'm aware of. NVIDIA, I guess, the stack is out now for 40 series, and it's going to be about software. It's got to be about software. What else can it be? In their position, I think it's got to be about doubling down on DLSS and DLSS support.
And ray tracing.
Ray tracing, obviously, yeah. And it would be great to see some new innovations there. Be interested to see what they've got there. And man, Alex, I really do hope that we get to see Alan Wake on PC.
Yeah, that'd be key.
I really want to stress why this one is important, because Control is such an important title in the kind of progression of ray tracing across the generation. It wasn't great shakes on the consoles, but on PC, it basically, threw the kitchen sink at us in terms of features, and it was incredible. And it's got to be next level stuff from Remedy.
This will be an interesting example, though, supposing it does support all these ray tracing features, which I'm sure it will, because Alan Wake, the environments in that game are going to be so different from Control, right? So it's going to have to focus on highlighting other aspects of ray tracing, like RTGI. Versus say like reflections. That was a huge part of Control, right? And everything was glossy, metallic, whatever in that game. And this is obviously going to be more natural environments with a lot less potential for reflections. So I'm very excited to see what they do with it.
Yeah. I guess from another sort of NVIDIA perspective, they've basically laid out the groundwork for their vision for the future of PC gaming, which is past facing, right? But we've only got Cyberpunk 2077 as an example there. Phantom Liberty is obviously coming. It's, essentially the work is done. So we will have RT Overdrive in Phantom Liberty. I think it's fair to say.
It's awesome.
The question is what other games could do it, because it's all very well having an integration with NVIDIA to produce this. But where do you go next? You've got to make a statement to the gamers, to developers, that there is a future in past facing. And that's the kind of statement I'd like to see. Anything else that you're looking forward to from Gamescom, apart from the socialization aspects, the concept that we are actually going to be in physical proximity to one another?
Oh, gosh.
That does mean that we're going to be having, I guess, we're going to be filming a direct where we're not actually in our bespoke locations, but we're probably in some godforsaken hotel room.
Yeah, that's probably how it's going to be.
I mean, if we can, and if the weather allows it, I don't know how possible it is. It would be nice to like have our cameras in an area where it's somewhat outdoorsy.
Yeah.
At least in the background to get some more space. I don't know how possible
the audio
it was.
is troublesome.
Yeah.
Who
even know?
And the lighting.
You literally just gave Oliver a heart attack there, Alex.
Yeah, I'm
Not
sorry.
want that. He doesn't need that right now.
Massive panic attack.
We don't need that right now. Right now.
So yeah, the Gamescom, really looking forward to it. And obviously I've got 3 years of collected things that you've asked me to buy in the UK that I'm going to have to bring out.
Thank you.
And I've got basically a whole wardrobe full of Audi's brown packages.
Yeah, you've got brown packages. I think one of them is a CDI power supply.
Yeah, I mean, is it a fire risk?
No.
I mean, everything else to do with the system is a disaster. I mean,
I think it's safe. It's safe for transportation.
Okay.
I'm not sure what
That's
they'll
great.
think of it at the border, though.
Sir,
Of course,
what is
at least it's just a power brick versus the time Audi tried to bring the CDI light gun to my house from Norway. And the
Okay.
German,
Oh, no.
they didn't like it too much. They were like, "What is this thing?" And he got in trouble for it.
so I was at Tel Aviv airport and I took a PSP development kit through security.
Oh, wow.
And let's just say it didn't go down well.
I'm sure.
Yeah, I got daubed with all sorts of explosive detection chemicals and had a massive chemical allergic reaction on the plane.
Oh no!
Yeah, I sort of got home and this is going off wildly on a bizarre tangent, but yeah, basically I had to sort of force feed myself antihistamines and then head to the doctor the following morning.
Oh my god.
And then I got industrial grade anti-allergic drugs. Oh man, that wasn't great. Hopefully, yes. I mean, I did send a message to John and Alex. Is there anything you want from the UK? And John just put large M2. And,
Yeah, with
obviously John.
with all these big video files, it is very important to have a good amount of space on a fast drive.
Yeah, definitely. It's these times
getting out of hand.
Yeah, at this point where now I start a video and I usually scratchpad do a 2 terabyte and it's only a couple hours, man. It's only a couple hours of recording.